But the energy of that scared little boy is so ferocious. Nothing can stop it.
Do you think there's a fighter that truly walks into that ring with absolutely no fear?
If he does, he's not going to be a good fighter.
With each camp, it gets harder and harder and harder. We bring in more sparring. I'm learning more things, so there's more information and data to process every single day, and my coaches are always pushing me to become better.
Why would I want to watch Jake Paul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. If you can take snippets of that for in your training, you know, he's doing something right.
Mike Tyson's first words after training with Jake Paul for the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight reflect a strong sense of approval. Mike Tyson appears to admire Jake Paul's fearless attitude, noting that confidence like his is essential in the ring. He's also expressed that boxing is gaining more attention thanks to young fighters and entertaining matchups. According to Mike, this new energy is helping the sport grow and reach wider audiences.
Really?
Right.
Boxing's only going up.
Right.
It can't, you can't take it no lower. No, I'm serious. I'm not being funny. You can't take, this is what you do when you can't do nothing else.
Yep.
Now they do it for pride, but this game started only if you can't do nothing else. This is
So you think this is necessary for the business, for the sport of boxing?
Absolutely. But these guys are college graduates. That's what makes it good. That's what brings it broadens horizons of boxing. It broadens people's horizons, and they understand boxing more as a skillful art, more so than some kind of brutality.
Jake Paul shared that this has been the best training camp of his career and that he's in the best shape he's ever been in. He expressed excitement about the upcoming fight, calling Julio the toughest opponent he's faced so far. Still, he remains confident and focused. Jake said he wants to inspire kids, showing that even those who start from nothing can succeed if they stay committed. He believes this fight is a major step toward achieving his goal of becoming a world champion and proving that hard work, discipline, and belief can turn any dream into reality.
In preparation for Saturday?
Yeah, it's been my best camp. Statistically speaking, just the best shape of my life. We tracked all the numbers and data from all of my camps, and like heart rate, weight, punch output, all of these things. So I'm in the best shape of my life, and camp went amazing, so I'm very excited. I'm just continuing to elevate as a fighter. With each camp, it gets harder and harder and harder. We bring in more sparring. I'm learning more things, so there's more information and data to process every single day, and my coaches are always pushing me to become better. Yeah, Julio is a former world champion. He is the most experienced fighter I've fought to date. And it's going to be a really good test of my skills, and depending on the performance that I put on, the sanctioning bodies in boxing will give me a ranking. And once I have that ranking, I'm able to go and fight for a world title. So this can set me up to become world champion and to be able to attain and get a world championship fight done. Yeah, I think a lot about inspiring the next generation. That's a big part of the reason I'm still so adamant about becoming world champion, because it will prove to kids that they can go into something at zero and make it all the way to the top in 6 to 7 years' time if they fully set their mind to it. So
Tony Jeffries, a former Olympic medalist turned analyst, shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's preparation ahead of the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. According to Jeffries, Jake's financial resources give him an edge. He's able to recruit the very best in boxing. From elite trainers to expert nutritionists and advanced facilities, everything surrounding Jake is world-class. Jeffries believes this investment is not just for show, it plays a critical role in sharpening Jake's performance. The structure around Jake helps him grow, strategize better, and step into the ring with more confidence and preparation than most newcomers can afford.
Huge advantage of having money is he can hire the best team in the world. He can have the best things possible. Like, he's got a hyperbaric chamber in his home, but he's got the best kind of chamber. This is helping him with recovery. Normal fighters can't afford to do this. So because of this, he's got that advantage. Now you might be thinking, well, him getting in a hyperbaric chamber for recovery is not going to help him be a better boxer. Well, my friend, let me tell you, it is. And the reason why it is, if you think you've done a hard boxing training session and you've got another one the next day because fighters train like once, twice, even 3 times a day, you're going to recover faster. If you recover faster, what happens? You perform better on the next session. So let's just say an average boxer is progressing like this because they're not recovering properly. Jake Paul is recovering and progressing like this. We've seen how fast he has progressed, whether you like him or not. He's come from 0 boxing experience to where he's at now. Now you might be saying, well, Tony, he's fighting an old man. Oh, mate. Just look at who Floyd Mayweather fought on his 6th fight, then look at who Jake fought on his 6th fight, and just see here the comparisons right there. Now back to the money. Having that money, he's doing hyperbaric chambers. He's got the best sports scientists, the best trainers around. And if I was still fighting right now and I couldn't afford what Jake's got, what I would be doing is watching what he's doing. Now you might think that is absolutely crazy. Why would I want to watch Jake Paul? Well, because like I said, he's got the best equipment, he's got the best trainers, he's got the best team that money can buy. If you can take snippets of that for in your training, you know, he's doing something right.
Jake Paul's youth gives him a natural edge. He has energy, stamina, and explosive punching power. His body is fresh, his recovery is faster, and he trains with hunger. Julio, on the other hand, has been through more than just battles inside the ring. Recent issues involving rehabilitation and substance recovery have raised questions about his conditioning and discipline. While experience is on Julio's side, Jake's momentum and physical condition could prove decisive, especially in later rounds. The contrast in their personal paths adds another layer to this already intriguing matchup.
With addiction issues like he has for so long in his pro career, this fight does become a little bit of a dangerous one for Jake. Not because Chavez Jr. is in his prime anymore. He's still going to be a shell of that early 20s Julio Cesar Chavez. But with 60 wins under his belt, if there is still any of that muscle memory left, there's still any go left in his body because, again, I hate to keep referring to it, doing drugs or having addiction issues does take its toll on your body, and sometimes it isn't recoverable, especially as you're going up in weight. Julio Cesar Chavez, not a normal cruiserweight, so he's going to be moving up as he gets older. How does that entail what he's going to do in this fight? I don't know, but I'll tell you, I watched him ringside against Uriah Hall, and it wasn't an impressive performance when he beat Uriah Hall in a 6-round fight. Honestly, when I watched the fight back, it looked like the only reason he beat Uriah Hall in that fight was because Uriah, like most MMA fighters, when they come to boxing, don't take credence of the rule set, right? They get hit with a ton of shots that don't hurt them, but also they're getting hit with shots that are scoring against them. Uriah Hall didn't look overwhelmed in that fight at all.
This training camp for Jake Paul marks a noticeable shift in tone. The flashy Instagram clips are still there, but beneath them is a more focused fighter. His footwork has improved significantly, and his punches flow with better timing and rhythm. He's building toward facing an opponent who's not past his prime or from a different sport, but a boxer with real pedigree. Jake's corner appears to understand what's at stake, pushing him in high-pressure sparring, endurance routines, and technical drills. This time, he's not aiming to entertain alone. He wants to earn respect from boxing insiders.
Wash it down with process, but they on PWP, right? I might as well be alive, don't trust no one. Nigga, it's just what it is. I had to talk with the sun. It's just what it is.
The fight with Mike Tyson had historical value, but limited competitive threat. Tyson, at 58, brought fame and intimidation, but not the stamina of his youth. Julio, by contrast, is still within striking distance of his physical prime. He may not be the same fighter he once was, but he still has the reaction speed, cardiovascular base, and ring IQ to be dangerous over multiple rounds. In boxing, a few seconds can change the outcome of a fight. Julio has enough left in the tank to test Jake in ways Tyson couldn't. That's what makes this matchup more serious.
What do you think about when you see some of these matches? Like they just said, didn't they just have Jake Paul was going to fight
Tyson?
What do you think about that shit, man?
It's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's fucking dumb, I think.
Like, well, what are you expecting? What do you think the outcome's going to be?
Well, I think...
Because I thought that Jake Paul would have lost by now, even fighting these guys at some stage, but he keeps winning. Like, I know that they're not like in their prime or whatever, but the whole background was fighting.
That's a good point.
And he keeps like somehow pulling it out. Like, if he pulls this one out, I don't care how old Mike Tyson gets. I'm not even fighting that guy until because he actually sat down on my show. He's fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Like I felt I'm not fighting. Even if he's 70 years old, I'm not fighting him.
He just felt like he had that danger in him?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
well,
my
I
God.
asked him, what would you be if you weren't a boxer? He said, a fucking criminal, like stone cold my eyes.
Damn,
And I'm like, okay, nice.
Logan Paul, who's seen Jake's rise from close quarters, acknowledges that this bout is fundamentally different from the others. While earlier fights were headline-generating spectacles, this one holds the risk of genuine defeat. Logan knows that Julio has grown up with boxing, fought top-tier opponents, and understands the nuances of real ring combat. This is not a scripted storyline. It's a real test of heart and skill. Grit, endurance, and adaptability will matter more than viral knockouts or pre-fight theatrics. Jake is stepping into a domain where his brand alone won't carry him.
Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I think it's one of his toughest fights.
It's definitely his toughest fight. Jake, I feel like, has gotten stiffed a few times this year with who his opponents were gonna be. This is what I don't understand about people hating on him. He's not fighting tomato cans. Every single person that he fought had a chance to beat him. And by the way, people believed that they were probably going to beat
Every time.
This guy is a real boxer. So it'll be another opportunity to show that Jake Paul is a real boxer.
Gabe Rosado, known for his grit and longevity in the sport, emphasizes a truth many fans forget. Experience in boxing isn't measured by age or fitness alone. Julio has walked into championship bouts under pressure, dealt with cuts, fatigue, judges' eyes, and all the dirty tricks of the trade. Rosado's view is that Julio's experience could be the silent weapon in this fight. Jake may be sharp and explosive early, but what happens when the rounds get longer and the tactics evolve? Julio knows how to adapt mid-fight, a skill Jake has yet to prove.
We got a lot to get to on the show, and I want to start with Jake Paul. This week, Jake's fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was formally announced with a press conference in LA. Paul and Chavez Jr. will meet in a cruiserweight fight. Jake is coming off a win over Mike Tyson last summer. A lot of people watched that. Chavez Jr. has not fought since beating MMA fighter Uriah Hall just around the same time. Some have said this is a good fight for Jake Paul, Gabe, noting that Chavez is a former world title holder, even though that was more than a decade ago. Others have criticized it as kind of a sideshow, given that Chavez is pushing 40 and probably a decade past his best days. Where do you stand on this? What do you think of this fight?
Well, I had to take some time to think about it, man, because when it was first done, when the fight was first made, I felt that it was just, I kind of compared it a little bit to the Mike Tyson situation. Mike Tyson fight, I don't really consider that an official fight. You know what I mean? Even though it was ruled a official boxing match. But because, Chavez is just very inconsistent. You know what I mean? And, I really don't know his habits. He has a bad track record on, preparing. But look, man, if Chavez comes in at least 60%, then I think Jake really has a fight, because one thing that Chavez has is experience. He may not have the youth, and the agility that Jake has right now, but he does have the experience, and I think that experience would give Jake a problem.
I completely agree with you. I think this is an excellent fight for Jake Paul. Officially, he is 11-1, but he's really like 2-1 as a boxer. He's fought Tommy Fury. He fought a couple of no-name cruiserweights. I guess if you want to throw Mike Perry into that list, you can say he's 3-1, but against guys that are traditional boxers.
Everything about this matchup feels heavier than Jake's previous contests. The stakes are no longer about clout or marketing. They're about legitimacy. Beating Julio would be a statement, one that could finally make boxing veterans see Jake as more than a side act. But a loss would be damaging, not just to his record, but to the idea that he belongs in this sport professionally. Julio might not be in his prime, but his foundation as a career boxer puts Jake in uncharted territory.
I like it. He was a little listless. He can get listless, but he's big. He's schooled in boxing.
It just does nothing for me.
Yeah, it is a challenge though. It's a legit challenge, right? He's probably
he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped by Anderson Silva. Jake's already beat Anderson Silva, so it's like
if he shows up for the fight, if he's really training, he's fairly tough. How old is he now?
39.
Oh wow,
he's 40.
Oh wow.
I don't think that one's gonna get big numbers. It's just like, all right, it's not a good next step. It's almost like he's going backwards.
But
now.
Wouldn't you say it's a good challenge for him?
No,
he's gonna beat him.
Yes. No, it's not a good challenge because he already got his ass whooped by Anderson. You know, it doesn't do much. I guess it keeps Jake active, and it's a boxer.
Yeah.
But the boxing, you're still going to get validation from the boxing community, which is what he wants. It keeps him busy, I guess. So that's good.
Promoters couldn't ask for a better pairing. Jake's online influence guarantees views, while Julio's name still holds weight in boxing circles. This fusion of audiences, traditional boxing fans and digital-era followers, creates a unique viewership blend. The event becomes more than just a fight. It becomes a cultural moment. Even people who aren't boxing fans are curious. Can the influencer really outbox the son of a legend? Whether it's out of support or skepticism, millions will be watching.
Let's find a real boxer. This man's an ex-world champion. He's way smaller when he was competing.
Yeah.
He have to come up to my weight. He's the son of a legend. I'm now Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He's Mexican. It's the best you could do. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, it's brilliant. You can't really do better than that if you're not trying to feed man to the wolves. But you're trying to make it appear so.
But do you reckon it's going to generate numbers?
Good question.
It depends how they market it.
It depends what Chavez comes on.
Yeah.
Because Jake won't be able to push this himself. It depends what Chavez comes on. If Chavez comes on some like, listen, bro,
I'm going to teach you boxing.
I'm going to teach you boxing. Yeah, then it can sell.
That type of energy.
Sources from Jake's camp say that everything has been dialed in for this fight. Unlike past events, there are no vacations, music videos, or business distractions. He's training like a man with something to prove. The word legacy is now entering Jake's vocabulary, a sign that he sees this fight as pivotal. For the first time, he's acting like a full-time boxer rather than a celebrity trying boxing. It's his moment to show the sport that he belongs, not as a disruptor, but as a true contender.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, you know, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, you know, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. Think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts.
Joe Rogan's take reflects the broader tension around Jake's boxing journey. Many still can't shake the image of Jake as a content creator rather than a fighter. However, Rogan acknowledged that Jake's knockout of a former MMA champion was no joke. The power is real, and the confidence is building. Still, there's doubt about whether this particular fight makes sense. But the reality is, it's happening. And regardless of public opinion, Jake is committed to walking into that ring and backing up the persona he's built.
If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
Whether you love him or hate him, Jake Paul makes people watch. His controversial rise has pushed boxing into new territories of exposure. But now, with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. as his opponent, the story feels heavier. It's not just spectacle anymore. It's a battle between two identities: influencer versus legacy, showman versus skilled boxer. For some, it's about seeing if Jake can truly hang with real fighters. For others, it's about hoping someone finally ends the act. Either way, this fight promises the kind of intensity and drama that boxing thrives on.
The point I'm making with all this is I get what Jake is doing here, and fair play to him. Again, you do have to remember Jake didn't have an amateur career. Like, he didn't do anything as an amateur before he turned pro and started fighting people. So that's always a little thing you have to keep in your mind when you're talking about Jake taking fights like this. It may not be what I want. That's a selfish thing for me to say, because I wanted the Tommy Fury fight for Jake. I think that they potentially wanted that fight. Tommy Fury seems like he's a little bit hard to deal with and negotiate with because of the cash that he needs to come and say yes. And again, business is business, whatever. But outside of that, you know, who else is there for Jake right now? Like, yeah, there's probably prospects at his level, at his age, but he is trying to sell a pay-per-view here. I don't know how this pay-per-view will do, but Chavez Jr.'s name is synonymous with boxing lore and obviously with his dad. So We'll see. But yeah, no, this would not have been my first choice as someone that wants to see Jake progress. It is a bit of a head scratcher to go, where are we going to take this? What route are we trying to go for Jake? If it's all about the world championship, then okay, fair. Again, the playing the politics game here and getting a name like Chavez Jr. on your resume and also getting his win to loss ratio on your resume.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.